Alright, this renowned journalist, Reuben Abati, has just dropped a bombshell on live TV, and this time, his target is none other than the FCT minister, Nyesom Wike. Abati came out swinging, accusing Wike of having no moral authority to speak carelessly about respected leaders like Peter Obi, former President Goodluck Jonathan, and former Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai. On national TV, Abati didn't miss words. He blasted Wike for his recent controversial remarks, warning that the minister should focus on his own record before pointing fingers at others. But that's not all. Abati also called out media, claiming some outlets are giving Wike a platform just for financial favor. These words have set tongues wagging across the country. Abati's message was clear. Wike must look in the mirror before criticizing anyone else. Watch this video. I'll be right back to say something.
Nyesom Wike, right? That's his name?
Yes.
The
Minister of the
Yeah. That's
Media Pali, yes.
That's the title he currently bears. Now, he is saying that if Mr. Peter Obi comes back to the PDP will be destroyed because Peter Obi doesn't have the character, having condemned PDP as a rotten party, to come back to the PDP. Wike is not in a position to talk about character. Okay? He is not the one to talk about character. In fact, if he talks about character, he should question his own character. I don't know why people have problems with basic intelligence and decorum. He goes on television and he says, Peter Obi doesn't have character. Peter Obi left PDP and went to Labour Party. Now he's in ADC. In fact, it is Wike himself that destroyed the party. And he also says President Jonathan should not come and run on the platform of the PDP because he's a statesman and all of that. He's not in a position to advise President Jonathan, just as he has made it clear that nobody can advise him. These are some of the issues in the last 24 hours. Okay? And who is he to determine the destiny of the People's Democratic Party when he is already in another political party? And I blame the media. The media gives him platform to disparage other political opponents. Yesterday he was talking about Peter Obi, he was talking about President Jonathan, he was talking about Nasir El-Rufai. What gives him that moral high ground to talk recklessly and unintelligently? Because the media, what is the media looking for? The media, they are the ones who go to interview him. They are the ones who collect money to put him on the air. If he's talking about the FCT, yes, fine. But if he's disparaging other political opponents, the media has an obligation to give all the other persons that have been disparaged to have a right of reply. So we should not create a situation whereby, for monetary reasons, the Nigerian media is sucking up to a minister of the Federal Republic who, in my view, is overreaching himself. What is the other issue? President Tinubu says there is no second-class citizen. Yes, he's right. There should be no second-class citizen. Section 42 of the 1999 Constitution is very explicit. Nobody shall be discriminated against on any basis whatsoever in this territory called Nigeria. So President Tinubu, after Sunday Dare had issued a statement to say, the government is fair to everybody. Mr. Ononuga also issued a statement to say, look, in terms of appointments, we're fair to everybody. Now the president is saying it himself. And is restating his own oath of office. He has to be fair to all Nigerians, whether the man is from Sokoto or from Badagry or is from whatever part of Nigeria. That is what the president should say, but he should not just say it. He should walk the talk. He should prove it in a believable manner, in a sustainable manner, in a manner that Nigerians will believe that their president is saying the truth.
Welcome back, Dr. Abati. What did you eat in Abidjan?
I take it. My wife was saying, what is this? I said, no, it's acheke. It's from Kasaba.
I need a plate of acheke myself. I think I need it, and I'm sure you understand. I think I need a plate of acheke this morning. Okay. All right, I think you both, I don't even know what else to contribute to the conversation this morning. You both said it all. Well, let me just say a few things about some of the stories this morning. And the first one, of course, the big story, which we will still talk about later on today. We have a guest coming to look at the legal part of that conversation around whether or not President Goodluck Jonathan is eligible to run in 2027. But I think what this has shown is that President Goodluck Jonathan is a big, in capital letters, threat to the APC, or is seen as a big threat, because the conversations that have come out already, the people, coming out to even say that he cannot run, trying to discourage him, trying to speak out against him, shows that, and for me, that makes the race in 2027 more exciting. Right before now, it had almost been like, okay, so it's just a race for one person, the one party has the dominant effect, it's just going to be a walkover. But it's great to see perhaps a rise of the opposition, and a rise that is strong enough. I'm not saying yet, because like Dr. Abati and Rufai mentioned, President Goodluck Jonathan hasn't yet come out to say whether or not he'll be running. But in the event that he does run, and with all these parties courting him, it means that the race in 2027 has become even more exciting. I recall in 2023, it was exciting because of the Obi factor, the Labour Party, the rise of the third force, and that really gave a run for the money for the two principal candidates and the two principal parties in the person of in the case of the APC and the PDP. And now we see another strong point in the elections for 2027. I do think the person who might get collateral damage might be Vice President Atiku Abubakar, because the emergence of President Goodluck Jonathan would mean that his votes from the north would be split, and also that opposition that is seen to be strong enough to face or to challenge the current president is strong enough in the person of President Goodluck Jonathan. I still think that Mr. Peter Obi has a good chance in terms of making it more vibrant. The more candidates, plausible candidates that we have, the better it is for our democracy, and the better it is for the people to have a choice as whom they believe would lead them best. Now, talking about leadership, I'll go over to what oh, by the way, to just show how big a threat is, there's an old video that's resurrected of the former First Lady, Mrs. Patience Jonathan, or Dr. Mrs. Patience Jonathan, saying that she didn't want to go back to the Aso Villa, and that she wants to just share love with her husband. She wants to enjoy peace. She's looking younger and fresher since they left the Aso Rock. And I see that has been circulating. I don't know which camp is promoting the circulation of this, almost as if to remind her and to remind President Goodluck Jonathan that you shouldn't go back, or remember how terrible it was. Also, I must also point out that in 2019, during the elections, one of the things that was an Achilles heel for President Goodluck Jonathan was the state of security in the nation. And I recall at that time it was get Jonathan out, get him out. A number of people, he did have his supporters, but people were looking for an alternative, or someone who could rescue Nigeria from the spate of terrorism. And to be fair to him, 8 years down the line, I don't know if, or 9-10 years down the line, if the state of security has greatly improved to justify his being ousted at the time, or being removed at the time as a result of security. One of the questions I'd like to ask him, if he does run, is what would he do differently when it comes to tackling terrorism, tackling kidnappings as we saw under his term, and how he would do it better. For me, those are the important questions to ask, and this will make for a more vibrant election cycle come 2027. Looking forward to that. Now, moving on to the conversation around, one region is benefiting more. In honest fact, if you look back, I don't think there's any administration since the return to democracy that hasn't been accused of this. So when a Yoruba man is in government, they say, oh, you're favoring the Yoruba people. When a Hausa man is in office, they say, oh, you're favoring the Hausa people. Therefore, I do believe there's a fundamental issue that surpasses politics, and that is the lack of trust, or the deep disunity that we have as a nation, such that everyone thinks that the other ethnic group is working for their own people and is not a nationalist in terms of what is good for Nigeria as a whole. Now, if you look at the Nigerian motto that was adopted in 1978, unity and faith, peace and progress, and look at the pledge in itself, the word unity, to serve Nigeria with all my strength and to defend her unity, shows that this challenge of unity has been a matter that has been on for a very long time, and we have been pushing this cause and this case about unity and this sense of nationalism, as opposed to you first thinking of yourself as a Nigerian, when it comes to your ethnicity. This is what drives a lot of things. It's not just during this Tinubu administration. Even during elections, it is used as an easy tool by politicians to rule and divide the people, and to cause ethnic tensions, to favor a particular cause or favor a particular party. Until we get it right, we will continue to have subsequent leaders who will come in, and people will continue to complain that, oh, you're not doing well for our region, and you continue to justify that actually I'm doing a lot of work. So my charge this morning is to push for unity, and I do think, as I keep mentioning, that the National Orientation Agency has a lot of work to do. If you look on X, the kind of rhetoric that comes out along ethnic divisions is we have a ticking time bomb on our hands. Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, yesterday said he was prepared to place a bet on President Bola Tinubu winning the 2027 presidential election in spite of the groundswell of opposition to his re-election. Wike made the assertion at a monthly media briefing in response to a recent prediction by former governor of Kaduna State, Nasir El-Rufai, that Tinubu would suffer a major humiliation in the 2027 election by coming third in the first round of the poll, leading to a runoff without the president on the ballot. Wike said the defeat the opposition People's Democratic Party suffered in 2023 would be child's play compared to what it would face in 2027 if it nominated Peter Obi as its presidential candidate. He also urged former President Goodluck Jonathan to shelve his speculated presidential ambition in 2027 by being content with his status as an elder statesman and international peacemaker.
Now, here is the big question for you. Do you believe Reuben Abati is right that Wike has no moral authority to attack respected leaders like Peter Obi, Goodluck Jonathan and El-Rufai? Or do you think Wike is simply being bold, fearless and saying the hard truths that others are too scared to voice out? I want to hear from you. Drop your honest opinion in the comment section. Don't forget to like this video, share it with others and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more political updates.